of people at Pittsburgh are big fans of football, but there are also big fans of basketball as well, like my friend Brooke here. Though both sports have their pluses, it's clear to me that watching football is the far better option. In football, some would say they don't like the weather, but I personally like to bundle up to watch the game. Not only do you get to bundle up in blankets with friends to stay warm, but you also could drink a nice warm cup of hot chocolate. Whereas in basketball, you're just surrounded by a bunch of sweaty people, you being one of them, with no way to cool off but to just take off your jacket. Senior Kara Hughes loves bundling up.
I like watching football better than basketball because, one, there's more room outside and you don't have to sit next to a bunch of sweaty people. And two, I like being warm and cozy with my friends.
Senior Sarah Cole enjoys the cooler weather as well.
I like watching football better than basketball because the weather's a lot cooler and football brings a lot of excitement.
Football is known for being a contact sport with lots of tackling and hitting, whether it's legal or not. I tend to like sports with action like that. It adds a little flair to the game and makes it more exciting. Senior Rachel Patterson likes the intensity.
I like watching football more than basketball because it's a lot more intense and I understand it better.
Senior Jeremy Brand loves watching the contact.
I like watching football more than basketball because I like to see contact in the sport. I don't want to see someone just throw a ball in the hoop. It's all about big hits.
The band is a big part of football games at Pittsburgh. Elena Kinzer likes to be a part of the band at football games.
I like watching football better than watching basketball because I like sitting up in the stands with the band and cheering for the teams.
Some people are just born into a family who loves football. They would start by watching Sunday Night Football, and as soon as they were older, they'd start going to Friday Night Lights at Pittsburgh. Senior Mackenzie Ellenwood is one of those.
I like football just because it's a big thing in my house that my family does together, so that's why I go to every game on Friday.
It's a clear-cut case that watching football is better than watching basketball. How can you argue with this, Brooke?
In my opinion, watching basketball is obviously the better choice of the two. My first reason being the weather. You said the students enjoy being bundled up and being cozy with their friends, but during the football season, the weather is so unpredictable. It could rain, it could snow, it could just be flat out freezing, or the weather could take a turn and change its mind. At the beginning of the football season, it's not so chilly, so you could dress for warmer weather, and as it gets dark, you could cool off and you won't be prepared. Who wants to sit outside in the rain without an umbrella or a sweatshirt? Especially for a sport that a lot of people don't understand, including me. Another reason basketball is better than football is you're closer to the action. Senior Samantha Leggett can agree with both the proximity to the action and the warmth of the gym being reasons why basketball is the better sport.
Okay. Sometimes basketball is better than football games because they're inside, so you're warm when you watch them. And sometimes you're closer, so you get to see the more physical game.
Yes, football is all about the tackles and the physical contact, but basketball is also a very intense sport. You can see the intense physicality between the players because you're so much closer to them. This makes basketball easier to understand and more interesting. Junior Laney Clark agrees that basketball is the more interesting sport.
I like watching basketball better because it's a lot more entertaining.
The goals are pretty self-explanatory as well. You don't need to turn to the person next to you and ask them what happened. When there's a call on the football field, the game is paused for a decent amount of time. But basketball doesn't have so much of the stopping, and it's more continuous. Senior Jordan Cole agrees that the continuous play is more entertaining.
I like watching basketball better because in football it's a lot of stopping and all this stuff, but basketball just is continuous and I like watching it better.
There's also so much more to basketball than just throwing a ball into a hoop. There are so many different ways that take more effort and more practice to shoot a made shot. For example, a three-point shot. Not just anybody can chuck a basketball up at the three-point line and make that shot. The same is true with a dunk. Not just anybody can jump up at the hoop high enough to touch the rim and get the ball into the basket without it bouncing back out. Sophomore Carrie Belcher loves when these shots are attempted.
I like watching basketball more than I like football because what if someone dunks it? I mean, that's intense, like, intense! Okay.
And this is why basketball is better than football.
And that is why football is better than basketball.